what episode again? I think people need to hear me ask what episode every episode.
Well, last episode was 16.
Really?
Yeah, 17.
Oh,
That's amazing.
You know how I know how to say it in Spanish.
Say it. Can you say? Do it. Let's do it.
Siete.
Nice. Well done, Jonathan.
very good.
There you go.
I approve.
How's his pronunciation was good, Carolina? That was good.
He's the boss, so I'll just say it was fine.
So right. So I like most people, I watched the Hamilton.
Oh yeah,
Disney
the
Plus.
musical.
Yeah, have you guys?
No, I haven't yet.
I have family that's in the tri-state area. You know, New York, New Jersey, and I think Pennsylvania is a tri-state area. So some of them have been. You know, they went to see it on Broadway, which is not actually on Broadway. I got a cool picture of me by the door of Hamilton. I didn't see it, but I forget. I need to post that picture because I'm right there near the star, you know, with the Hamilton. So I need to post that. You know, it's implied as if I was there. But what I noticed about Hamilton was like 1700s, they have phenomenal hair care products. Like, if you guys get an opportunity to see that, they have the best hair in the hair. I don't know how we regressed from the 1700s to the 1800s to have to come back from that. But man, they had shiny, and the products were just so natural that you really couldn't tell that they had product in their hair. I was amazed by that. But it's a really good production. Do you guys have like a background in seeing like live theater? Like that's not my jam. I'm not.
No, I don't.
I enjoy it. Like Alice and I have gone a number of times to live theater. We've been in New York and in Toronto. Yeah.
Right.
The Devil's Tip Opera. Yeah, the Devil's Tip Opera. I'm certainly not an aficionado in any sense of the word.
Me neither.
I do enjoy it.
Me neither. So I'm not clued in on this stuff. By the way, today we're going to talk about software systems. Software apps for helping you to train people online, coach online. We'll circle back around to that. I meant to say that earlier, but yeah, I really enjoyed this, and it's sort of hip hop based also. And you think that because, and Keto spoke to this before. Oh, I think the train's coming by my window. And Keto spoke to this before, the appropriation of General Mills and their Twiddle Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal.
Of course.
But, I'm thinking, for those that don't know in podcast land, I'm Black. So I'm thinking there's going to be some lame rapping going on in this thing. Like it's going to, like your average Tide, your average Tide commercial, because everything's appropriated now. You're like, I washed my socks and my son really loves it. We use Tide in the evening and we use it in the morning. Like, I think it's something going to be like that. It's really good. Like, I have friends, because, I was a musician at one point in my life.
Fortress.
Fortress.
I did the Apollo.
Fortress.
It's on tape. We discussed that in earlier episodes.
Yes.
But I think it's gonna be lame. And I got friends that are, legit, hip hop industry people, and they're like, man, the hip hop is so good in there.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, you know what you should watch if you haven't seen it yet? There's a video on YouTube. I probably watched it 15 times, and it's what's his name? Lin-Manuel.
Yeah. Lin-Manuel
Miranda.
Yeah.
Okay, Lin-Manuel Miranda, I think is his name. Yes, the creator of it. And it's him performing for the Obamas at the White House. And this was before Hamilton hit. And the story of how the performance came about was like really interesting. But basically, he only had the one song that he was performing. He was writing Hamilton.
Right.
And it was the first time that he had ever performed it in public. Like, he had performed it like to his friends and family and wife and whatever it is. And he performed it for the Obamas. And you just see he walks up, and of course they announce it as, this is a singer singing about like the American Civil War or whatever. And they're just like, like a little like
polite clap.
He does it, and
time
you
to drink.
see their faces when he
light up.
starts, and they were just. They just can't believe it.
It's really away.
It was shocking. It's shockingly good. It's shockingly good. I didn't expect it to be that good. It's almost as good as Amber's deltoids right now on the podcast. Come back to YouTube. Amber's got the delts popping today. Like, she just got through with set 6 of shoulders right before the podcast, and some shoulders. Anyway. But it's,
you know what she does, Ren? Every episode that we do of the podcast, that's how many sets of shoulder raises Amber does.
Oh, is that what?
We're on 17.
Wow.
Are you doing AMRAPs for podcasts now? That's awesome, Amber. No wonder.
That is a great workout game right there.
She's so my hero.
As many podcasts as possible.
Amber is she's the highest paid 16-year-old podcast producer, I think, on the Southeast near her home within a 5-mile radius. So that's something to be proud of, Amber. You're number one within 5 miles.
That's like, what did we learn? We're number 2 in Romania. We're the number 2 fitness podcast in Romania.
Shout out to you, Romania, wherever that is. I'm sure
is that
John's
for real? Is that a real stat?
Probably 3 people who listen in Romania, so we're number 2 in fitness.
That is amazing. I will wear that as a badge of honor.
You know what?
I'm big in Romania. You don't even know it.
We need to get Romania t-shirts. Speaking of the highest rated personal trainer software across Trustpilot, Capterra, and Get App, and the winner of the best of badges in personal training software industry. You guys know who that is? PT Distinction. It's PT Distinction.
Okay.
You know, and because we're one of the highest rated podcasts in Romania, Jonathan worked out a deal with PT Distinction where you get 60-day trial period at no cost. That's amazing. You know, head on over to onlinetrainer.com/PTD. Sign up for that spectacular offer that Jonathan Goodman negotiated. In addition, the Online Trainer Academy, because we're all vets of the Online Trainer Academy. We're all big deals. You guys have seen us. People know us. You know, we're important. It's because of OTA. That's why people know us. They've been helping trainers and nutrition coaches build thriving online businesses since 2013. Let us take the guesswork out for you. Actually, it reads, let us take out the guesswork for you. But I like to say, let us take the guesswork out because it's like taking out the trash. The guesswork is trash. We bundle it up. We zip tie the guesswork. We go down to the corner and we put it in the can. Boom. Hey, Jonathan, is it time to start the show?
We put the guesswork in the garbage for you. Take that garbage out.
Dropping the WWE elbow on that guesswork.
There is no guesswork anywhere. If you want guesswork, you better go somewhere else if you want that guesswork.
We don't have any guesswork here.
We don't got no guesswork. Hello, my name is Jonathan Goodman, and welcome to the Online Trainer Show. Today is episode 17, and I booked a haircut for Thursday.
Nice.
Today's Tuesday. We're going to be talking about the best apps and software programs to manage your online training business. You're not going to want to miss this. Thanks for listening.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show.
We shouldn't have a podcast. Well, you guys might not remember, but there was a great TV show. I'm like the throwback liaison here on the. I realized that as the old guy here, I'm like the throwback liaison.
You're
Every
vintage.
reference, vintage. That's right, Keto. Thank you so much. You're such a dear, Keto. Oh, somebody had a birthday, didn't they? There's a birthday situation. What was it? Was that you, Keto?
Absolutely.
21.
Yes.
Once more.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Feliz cumpleaños. Gracias. It was amazing.
So how was, talk to us, give us the insight that you can give us about this birthday.
Okay, so I've been celebrating. Tonight I have another party because I celebrate my birthday for like a week straight. I don't know how people survive with only one day of a birthday.
So
like,
why are birthdays so important for you?
Why are birthdays so important to me? Because I was a teen mom. And so from when I was very, very young, my life was not so much about me anymore. It's been about other little people and growing people.
Yes.
And so focusing on work and focusing on, bringing my kids forward and everything. And so when my birthday rolls around, I make a big freaking deal out of it because I think like I deserve a day, a week, whatever, a month, maybe out of the year, all for me. And so that's the way that it's been going, and it's been amazing.
So
and
there's
the Jedi
another.
Knocked it out of the park, right?
He knocked it out of the park. He threw me a surprise birthday party.
Really?
Here in the city. Well, we're allowed gatherings of up to 10 people. So he gathered my 8 closest friends. Whole, it was like actually one of the COVID masks. He's like, just put this in your eyes. And I'm like, that's not how they work. He's like, just blindfold. Like, you need a blind. And
He's like, okay. I'm the mayor. I know how this works.
Do as I say, damn it.
Everybody else in this town listens to me. There's 17 other people in this town listen to me. Why don't you?
100%. So half of Barry was there. You said up to 10?
Yeah.
That's half the population? Most of the city.
Yeah, that's right.
John?
So it was amazing. And he got me food from my favorite legit authentic Mexican restaurant here in town. Yes, really? He bought like this, he got us this whole menu, and oh my God, I was just like, just so happy. It was amazing.
Good job, Jedi Mayor. You know, your stock rises each episode on this podcast. I'm telling you.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, you're the kind of boyfriend that makes other guys super annoyed because now, you raise the bar.
I'm so annoyed.
The bar has been raised.
I'm so annoyed by him.
Right? Like my friends who were there with their husbands, they were like nudging the husband, like, why don't you do nice things for me like this?
Right. Why don't
you know what the mayor's doing? The Jedi mayor is taking the guesswork out.
That's what he's saying.
The boyfriend.
No guesswork. No guesswork.
Out of
he
the
took
trash.
the guesswork, he put it in a bag, he tied it tight, zip tied it, pulled it up with his huge mayoral biceps, took the guesswork down to the trash compactor, threw it in the compactor, looked at the compactor and said, "Don't you look me in the eye, I'm the mayor," and then walked back, and the guesswork's gone. It's gone now. That's what PT Distinction does. That's what the OTA does. We don't bring any guesswork around here. You know what we're going to do with it. You've been warned, listeners. So we're talking about utilizing apps today. We want to utilize some great apps. You know, there's the software is out there. People need this information. We were informed. I don't know if Carol got the message. We were informed to bring two of our favorite softwares to the table here. This is a roundtable discussion. Jonathan said, "We've had 5 episodes. You guys can talk again." We said, "Thank you, Jonathan." And he's going to let us talk today about things. So Jonathan, are we following your lead, or you're gonna be last again so you can make us all look bad at the end?
I can be last again. I mean, I got 7 that I like.
7.
So I can be last, but
my first 2 were not approved.
We don't have much time, so you guys better talk quick.
Yeah. So we'll have to hustle. You know, Keto's 21 again, and you know, my mother raised me right, Keto. She said, "Ladies first."
Hold on, let me just kill a spider.
Keto's she's vanquishing vermin once again, live here on the podcast for you in the lovely town of Barry.
Hold on, Romania. I'm going to just Romania. You have a few moments to spare while I kill this spider in my own.
Give me a second, Romania. We've got spider disposal. We're online trainer.com is taking out the guesswork. You know, the mayor's taking out the guesswork of boyfriends. Keto's taking out arachnids. Why did I say arachnids with the Spanish accent just now? Why did I roll the R in arachnids? That was
arachnidos.
Arachnidos.
That's made up. All right, Carolina, your two apps of software, go.
My 2 apps of software. One, like for my shorter period clients who are with me for like 12 weeks time, I use Trainerize. That's where I set up their workouts, everything, follow-up messaging, everything. And for the people who then graduate into my long-term kind of like habit-forming program, I use ProCoach from Precision Nutrition.
All right. So tell the people quickly about these choices. Like help us, the average listener out there who's not amazing like you are yet, Keto. You know, we got a wealth of knowledge. Help us correlate. Why short term for Trainerize? Like, how do you facilitate these? Like, why do you pair those things with those methodologies?
Trainerize is super easy to set up. It's very easy on the user end. It's very kind of like, like the learning curve is quite easy. Like I've never had a client like struggle in figuring out how to set up anything. Like it's just very straightforward. It's very easy I've been using it for years. So at this point, if there's another option that is different or better, I'm just not familiar with it because I've known Trainerize for so long that I've just stuck with it.
Right.
And it's easy to set up your programs with the option obviously to add videos from YouTube or your own videos if you're doing your own recording of the exercises. And that visual component is very important to clients. They really enjoy having the video of what their exercise is supposed to look like form. And as for ProCoach, that's the longer approach, because it's like they receive a daily lesson. Each day they have to check if they completed their behavior habit that is kind of like building up to their new life, to just incorporating these behavioral components and keep them for life, no matter where they go. If they travel, if they move, if things get crazy, they still have like their anchor behavioral stuff. So that's a year-long program, and it's a totally different setup in ProCoach.
Gotcha. Jonathan, if I may call you Jonathan again, I like to get clearance every other episode just to make sure. I don't want to cut off my supply of Canadian loonies. So, if I may call you Jonathan, let me pull you in here. Because we see something in the online trainer community, which is the toiling over.
Oy.
What's the magic software? What's the magic app? What's the right app? What's the perfect app? Can you just, I think that's important right here. Can you speak to that really quickly?
I'll speak to that really fast.
Yeah.
The reality of it is you'd have a very hard time going wrong. I mean, obviously PT Distinction sponsors the podcast, so we talk about them more. Trainerize is great. I've known them. I've been an advisor. I've advised most of the training softwares at this point, from a lot of them from very early on. You'd have a very hard time going wrong. They're all probably good enough for what you need. Some of them have a little bit more learning curve than others, but like, what do you need to do? Right? You need your clients in a place. You need an app. You need to have your workout templates delivered to your client. You need them to be able to fill in their workouts on a thing, on their app or whatever, and you need messaging. Like, that's basically it.
Right.
And so it's definitely not a decision you should overthink.
Right.
My suggestion is often take a step back and say, what are the 3 things you really want to be able to deliver to your client, which is basically what Carolina did, right? Like, what are the 3 things you really want to be able to deliver? Find the first piece of software that delivers that, choose it, sign up for it, and never think about the problem again.
Right.
It's oftentimes when people are trying to figure out the best software, it's actually a method of them procrastinating. It's not, it's them justifying to themselves why they are taking action and actually doing the thing. By giving themselves permission to take longer under the excuse that they're trying to make the best decision of software. Really, it's the same as organizing your shoes 27 times at home at your desk, because for some reason that seems more important at that moment than actually doing work.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Call it out.
Yeah. So again, it's my turn. I need to.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Yes.
Your turn.
So my first one is Canva. It's not an app per se, but it is a website. Well, no, there is a Canva app now. I forgot when I first started it, there was no app for Android. There was no Canva app, but now there is a Canva app, and I am able to do it on my phone quite a bit, which is super handy. It's super handy. So if you don't know what Canva is like, I guess the best way I could put it is a poor man's Photoshop. To put it simply, and I went through the trouble of learning Photoshop over the last year, 2019. I spent a lot of time learning Photoshop because I wanted to learn how to caption and edit my videos. That's important to me. But Canva is so much simpler, and Canva has progressed so much from when I first started using it. When I started using Canva, like you couldn't filter out a background in a picture with one click. Like, it's legit. If you have a picture and there's stuff in the background, you can filter the entire background out now, make it invisible, and overlay your image. A lot of us in OTA2 have been utilizing it to change our Facebook cover photos. There's some really slick ones out there, by using Canva. I think Igor gives a little tutorial on that through the OTA2 in one of the sales calls. But Canva is really helpful. Quote cards, infographics, all the stuff that you want to sort of post on social media. Canva can really jazz it up because there's so many templates. And that's probably the main thing. You can literally just take a picture that you have, find a really cool Canva template, put the picture in the template. It's easy to change the colors in the sort of Canva, templates, and they got whole productions in there. I just stumbled on videos last night. I didn't realize this. Like you can take a video and put it into a Canva template and do like a really cool stories video where you're saying just something quick. Hey, catch us on the Online Trainer Show tomorrow at blah, 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 blah. I could put that video into a Canva template that's templated for, it's a template for stories, but it's also got all these cool graphics around it already. And literally all you're doing is sticking the video. It's really, really good. Canva will step up your professionalism of your content like 100 times very, very easily. And they've gotten away from their paid content in there too, because there was a time you had to buy some photos, you had to buy some templates, some widgets in there, icons, and they've done away with that now. So if you get the paid version of Canva, which is really inexpensive, you now get all of that Canva content for free. Think of it sort of along the lines of buying pictures from Adobe stock.
Right.
Canva had their own stock of things, icons, photos. It's all included now. So that's really cool. So Canva's number one. And number two, I'm going to go really lame. Forgive me for this, but Facebook. I know it's probably sort of obvious, but literally every opportunity that I've had in this business came from Facebook.
That's true. I hadn't thought of it that way.
Yeah. When I first started, I started a fitness page, and I don't want to take too much time here because Jonathan's got 7. But when I first started a fitness page, I was literally in a hospital room with my mother, and I used to answer questions from people on Facebook all the time. I was always a fitness guy, even though I wasn't a trainer yet. I wasn't certified at the time. I was working insurance, if you can believe that. And then one of my friends was like, dude, you should start a page and answer fitness and say fitness stuff. And I started a page on Facebook. It was called I Got a Fitness Jones at the time, which later morphed into Fitness Jones Training. That's how, but by the time I was certified, I had like 2,500, maybe 2,700 followers back in the day when people could see your business page through the Facebook algorithm.
They actually worked.
I got a job at a studio because someone saw my content. They were like, hey, I'm Emily, and I run a studio here adjacent to your city in Charlotte. I love your content. I was thinking, would you like to come and work part-time? Yep. I learned boxing through Facebook because one of the owners at Title Boxing Club in Charlotte, which is a nationwide club at their franchise, he said, hey, man, I love your content. You got a big following. We're reshifting trainers. They taught me boxing there because of my content on Facebook. I didn't know boxing before. Awesome. Jonathan Goodman, I met through messaging on Facebook.
So tell me, like obviously the benefits of Facebook are cool. Tell me like 1 or 2 things that you do daily, weekly that somebody else could use on Facebook.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Cause I was going to ramble. I was rambling. So for Canva, 1 or 2 things you can do weekly is it's got great templates for client testimonials. Lots of things with a circle just for a picture that has wording associated. That's a really great way to put out a slick testimonial. Go through the templates, pop a client's picture in there. It doesn't even have to be a before and after. That's great. Just on Facebook, on Facebook, one of the things that I like to do is answer questions. Answer questions. One of the most underrated ways to build your business on Facebook.
Where do you find the questions?
I was just about to say that. I go into groups, fitness groups. Now, that's not a great place to sort of, for content. You have to realize that, like, you don't get great content delivery in a big fitness group because there's just so much in there. But there are always people in there answering questions. Mm-hmm. One easy way to stay out, to stick out, I got from Jonathan and Amber, just shoot a video. When they ask a question, grab your phone, forward face it, shoot a video. Hey, Jonathan, that's a great question about abs. Here's what I learned about abs. Blah, 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 send. It will stick out like gold in a bucket full of lead if you answer a question, and that'll build your following.
Reputation.
That's your branding. Sure. That's your branding. Answering questions is your branding.
Love it.
Answer as many questions as possible. Thanks,
I love quick video responses and comments.
It's so good.
They make and it's quicker to do that than it is to type a response.
It's so much easier than actually typing it. But it sticks out so much. So Jonathan, you've got some ideas, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, let me talk about my 7. I figured you guys are going to talk about software, so I'm not going to talk about software. I didn't think deep enough to think about Facebook. So I've got 7 basically apps that I use that I find really useful that I've used for years. I'm just going to basically talk about what they are really, really quick and talk about why I use them and why they're so effective. I'll talk about if there's a price too.
Okay.
So the first one is TripIt. and it's TRIPIT. If you travel, TripIt is the best app ever. It's free.
Really?
You download the app, and all that you do is you forward all of your reservations. So it could be car rental, could be hotel, could be flight, whatever it is. And you forward the reservation email to the special TripIt email that they give you. And what it does is it pulls all of the information from the reservation, puts it on your app, and organizes it into a trip.
Wow.
Organizes everything. So
nice.
Even just one trip, if you've got like a flight there and back, a rental car, and a hotel, or an Airbnb or whatever it is, it's all organized then in one trip with all your reservation numbers, with addresses, with phone numbers, with everything, and it's all pulled in.
Nice.
It's brilliant. Like,
love it.
And the cool thing about TripIt too is it'll calculate like how much distance and how many days away and stuff like that.
Oh.
So TripIt's great. Evernote I use for a very specific reason. I don't use Evernote to keep track of all my notes. I don't write notes in Evernote. What I use Evernote for is to pull articles off of the internet. And tell me if this resonates with you, where you're doing something online and an article comes up that you think is interesting, but you don't want to go and read it because you don't want to stop what you're doing, but you want to save it, you don't want to forget it. You don't want to get stuck in the rabbit hole. So all that I have is on my web browser, you could put an extension, an Evernote extension, and you can set it to save stuff in specific categories. And so I save stuff as I set it, so it saves stuff as what's called a simplified article, which basically means it strips out all of the other junk on a website and just has the text. And so it rips that out, and then I have it saved into a specific notepad in my Evernote called To Read From the Net. And then once a week I have a schedule, or I have a block in my schedule where I read everything in the To Read From the Net folder. So then anytime I come across something that's interesting, I just literally click on my browser, click, save, move on to the next, knowing that that piece of content is saved, and then I have a specific time to go through it. LastPass, for anybody who does any work on the internet, password management is a nightmare. LastPass allows you to have one really safe, complicated password to log into your LastPass account. And then you can have different passwords for everything, because you want different passwords for everything. You shouldn't ever use the same password for everything. You want a different password for everything, and they should be like pretty complicated, symbols, that type of thing, in order to have safe passwords. But to remember those is impossible. To keep them on a spreadsheet is a nightmare. And so what you do is that you can have a free LastPass account for personal. We pay for it as a company. But then what happens is you log into your LastPass and it autofills your passwords. And there's an app on your phone as well that unlocks, of course, with your master password or with your thumbprint. And it's also really good as you start to expand your company and have virtual assistants and stuff like that, because what you can do is you can assign permission to other people to have access to stuff, and they don't actually see your password. That's the key. So if they have access to a shared account, you don't need to set up a separate permission for them. It's the same password, it's the same account, but when they go to it, as long as they're logged into their LastPass, it'll autofill the password in the like ... It won't actually show them the password. So they don't actually know what your passwords are, but they can get access. And then from your admin panel, you can remove password access from that person. So if you have a contractor who comes in for a week, you can give them access to something, whatever they need for that week, and then remove access the following week without changing all your passwords and everything like that, which is really, really great. So for yourself and for other people, I use HubDoc. HubDoc, I don't know if I'd even specifically recommend it. I think it might actually even be a Canadian thing. But what HubDoc is, financial management for trainers, for fitness professionals is really important and often pretty ignored. Yeah. What HubDoc allows you to do is it automatically integrates with bank, with credit card and stuff like that, and pulls statements right away into a central filing system. And then anytime that I'm out and about, I take a picture of a receipt in the HubDoc app, it saves it for the bookkeeper, so I don't need to keep track of all that kind of stuff. Anytime I get an invoice or whatever it is via email, I file it similar to TripIt to like a special HubDoc email that's personal for me, and it automatically categorizes and stores all of the receipts, invoices, everything, that then my bookkeeper could log into that and has everything that she needs, whether it's you managing your finances or something else. You don't want to get to tax year and be like, okay, where's every single receipt and every single invoice I've ever used this year? Right. You basically file everything and it's documented. So there's a lot of systems to do that type of thing. We use HubDoc. I think it's like $18 a month or something like that. But there's a lot of systems to do it. But something to manage your receipts and your financial stuff is brilliant. Similar to kind of the Canva recommendation, I use Sketch a lot. It's actually an Evernote company now. I don't think Evernote bought them, but it's what I like about Sketch is it's a simple app on your phone that allows you to really quickly crop stuff and annotate stuff. It's free. It's Skitch. I guess Amber, you'll put all these in the
notes.
Skitch. And what it allows you to do is just open up a picture. You can annotate it with red. You can draw arrows. You can circle stuff. It's really, really great, particularly for clients. Like write a note about you on Facebook or something like that. You can you can screenshot it, put the screenshot into Sketch on your phone, on your computer, or whatever it is, crop it so it's just the part that you want, underline sections of it, and then just save it and share it wherever you want. Super, 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 super fast, really easy to use. Next one is called TunnelBear. TunnelBear is a VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network. They're super cheap. Actually, I'm going to give you 8. There's one more I want to give you as well.
Of course, there's more. And wait, there's more.
TunnelBear is, I think it's like $50 a year. It's super cheap. If you work out of a lot of cafes, you work out of coffee shops and something like that, you really want a virtual private network. And what that does is it cloaks your IP address on a public network, meaning that somebody can't hack into your computer. And so basically turn it on when you're in a public place and your computer's safe, versus a lot of like libraries, coffee shops and stuff like that I work out of a lot of. They're actually really unsecure connections. Like you never want to go on your banking. You never want to do it. Like, I mean, unfortunately, there are people who sit in coffee shops and just basically hack into computers because the network is not secure at all. In addition, what it allows you to do is it actually allows you to browse from certain countries. So if you live in Canada like I do, and you want to watch TV from the United States actually Netflix blocks it, but like you want to watch YouTube videos, for example, that are only available to viewers from the US because of IP rights, you can actually set your account to say that, to make it to cloak it so it looks like you're from the United States.
That's awesome.
It was particularly useful when I was traveling through Southeast Asia because Facebook is blocked in a lot of countries. So I'm going through Vietnam, and when I was there, I'm not sure what it's like now, but when I was there, they blocked Facebook. And so I could go on a VPN, say that I'm in Canada and the United States, and all of a sudden now I can use Facebook in Vietnam.
You know, Jonathan, I've heard this tip used also for traveling. If you change your VPN to another country, you can actually get the exact same tickets for the exact same flight way cheaper because you're buying from a different location. Yes, but only if you go incognito because your browsers get cookied by travel sites. Right. Yes, correct. Yeah, you can oftentimes, because like, I don't know, buying airplane tickets is like, it's like the scammiest scam ever. There's no price. It's like you go to a website and look at totally an airplane random. Ticket, and then you go back to that website later on and the price is higher because they know you've already looked, so they know you're probably going to buy. Wow. And that's a tech thing. That's an automated thing where they cookie you. It's not like the system is higher. It's like literally just for you. Yeah. And so the same type of thing, if you're in a place, they know you have to leave that place, which means they know you have to buy a plane ticket, right? So if you're like, if you're in Arizona, for example, and you want to fly from Arizona back to Toronto, if you cloak it and say that you're like somewhere else and you go to buy that plane ticket from Arizona to Toronto, it will probably show cheaper as if you are searching from Arizona. Sometimes, not always. They actually do less and less of that garbage now. But people who really know those systems, I mean, the amount of money you could save on flights are stupid. Next, Self-Control. This is a free app.
I think everybody should download on your computer. And what
I don't know if I want it.
What self-control does is it blocks you out of everything on your computer other than the stuff that you're working on. And so you can, you actually set like the websites it doesn't want you don't want to access. So you can say, block me from Facebook, from YouTube, from whatever. I think mine is like Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, a sports site, and my email, and then Slack, I think is what it blocks me from. And then whenever you want to turn it on, basically you turn it on and turn on the timer for as long as you want to be blocked, and just click OK. And you have to restart your computer in order to reset it. So you won't just
That's
like
brilliant.
Over. Yeah, so you won't just like flip over and like procrastinate. It'll keep you more focused on the thing. Self-control is great. And then the final one, which is the bonus, this is the 8th, is a software called Backblaze. And I hate the idea that I could ever lose anything. And I relentlessly back up everything I have to the cloud. Pictures from my phone. I mean, for example, like I don't want to lose pictures from my phone. So every month, what I'll do is I'll back up all of the pictures on my phone of like my family to a giant cloud server at box.com, which I like basically never access, but I just don't want to lose these photos if I lose my phone. The same thing, all of our websites, our email lists, everything backs up at a minimum once a day to an external cloud. And we can always revert 24 hours back to whatever we have. Backblaze is basically that for your computer. So Backblaze, I think, again, it costs like $50 a year. Mm-hmm. You set it up on your computer and it constantly runs. And what it does is it constantly, whenever you're logged into the internet, you can pause it if you're on like a connection with less bandwidth, but it backs up your entire computer constantly as you go all of the time to an external server. And of course, the first time you do it, it's like a big backup. But then over time, you're actually not like adding that much stuff to it. And the nice thing about this is I've never actually used it, but the peace of mind it gives me is great, because what you can do with it is if your computer ever crashes, if you lose your computer, if your computer gets stolen, you can download your computer again onto a new computer. Or if you're traveling anywhere in the world, they will overnight ship a storage, whatever
like
it's
a
called,
flash drive or whatever,
like a flash drive to you wherever you are in the world with your computer on it. So if my computer gets stolen while I'm traveling around in, I don't know, Montenegro, say, where the internet isn't that strong, I could buy another computer. But the problem is, if I'm trying to download my entire computer on Montenegrin internet, it's going to take me like a month.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll overnight ship a flash drive to you that I could then plug into a new computer, and I'm up and running like that.
That's amazing.
So those are some of the ones that I rely on quite a bit.
Your whole list sounds much more Bruce Wayne than mine did. I mean, it's very Tony Stark. Bruce, I'm like Facebook and Canva, and Jonathan's like, yeah, if you're in an international situation and you.
I mean, he just got a Tesla, so he's got to have the apps to match, right?
He's a big deal. He's a big deal. Not only did he visit Barry, he visited in a Tesla, and I think he had coffee at the same time. So this man is amazing. He's the Tony Stark of personal training. Gosh, I don't want to go last anymore. I mean, go first anymore. I want to go last. I want to go after Jonathan's explanations, I can make something up that's cooler than what he said.
You should have your own podcast then.
That's true. That's point well taken. We all know I'm too scattered for that. I barely make it to this one every week. So we got some good tips. I hope you guys picked up the software as I'm sure Amber is going to make sure those things make their way to the show notes. Amber, you have anything to add before I talk about the show notes and subscribing? Anything? You got anything? Nope. Amber literally unmuted herself to shake her head no. So
I thought about it.
please come back and watch the YouTube of her pressing unmute so that she can give us a head signal, a nonverbal command. Thank you so much, Amber. I can see you so much better when I can hear you. So show notes can be found at onlinetrainer.com/podcast. Hey, like and subscribe and tell a friend and listen and send us some reviews. The reviews slowed up a bit. We need more reviews.
Romania. Come on, Romania. Bring it.
Talking to you, Romania. Bring it. I wonder if Joe Brown 2020 is in Romania. Did he type with a Romanian accent? Who message? Episode. This has been episode 17. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, I can't believe that. So thank you so much for tuning in to the online trainer show, the podcast here. We love giving you this information. Jonathan Goodman, thank you for the explanation of those. He gave us a bonus. Keto, thank you so much. Amber, thank you for being the mayonnaise that holds this tuna fish that we call a podcast together. We need you to bond us, and you do it well every week. Is it time for the jingle again? Time for the imaginary jingle that Amber said we don't have? There's a jingle. Listen for the jingle. Jingle, jingle.
This is the online trainer show. Trainer show. Trainer show. This is the online trainer show.
We shouldn't have a podcast.